This is Capital Logic. Today we are breaking down YETI, how over-engineering a basic camping item and pricing it like luxury transformed a humble cooler into a lifestyle brand. If this is your first time here, subscribe and hit the like button. It helps us keep making these breakdowns. Let's get into it. YETI, a company known for its expensive coolers, doesn't actually make most of its money from coolers anymore, but from an ever-expanding line of lifestyle products. This isn't just about premium pricing. It's a masterclass in brand building and strategic diversification. Stay until the end. I'll break down 3 lessons from YETI's playbook you can apply to your business this week. If you want business breakdowns you can actually use, hit subscribe and the bell. Imagine a world where a cooler, a simple insulated box designed to keep drinks cold, could become a status symbol. A product so ubiquitous, yet so aspirational, that its sticker alone signals a certain lifestyle. How did a company selling what is, at its core, a plastic box, manage to build a multi-billion-dollar empire? It certainly wasn't by following the conventional wisdom of the outdoor gear industry. The story of YETI begins not in a boardroom, but in the sweltering heat of Texas, with 2 brothers, Roy and Ryan Siders. These weren't your average entrepreneurs. They were avid outdoorsmen, hunters, and fishermen. And like many who spent serious time in the wilderness, they were perpetually frustrated. Their coolers, the ones from established brands like Igloo or Coleman, simply weren't cutting it. Latches broke, hinges snapped, insulation failed, and ice melted far too quickly. They were tired of buying a new cooler every season. They wanted something that could withstand the abuse of the wild, something built to last. So in 2006, they decided to build it themselves. Their vision was simple, yet radical. Create the toughest, best-performing cooler on the market, regardless of cost. The result was the YETI Tundra 65. And its price tag? A staggering $299.99. Think about that for a moment. In 2006, a typical cooler of a similar size from a well-known brand would set you back maybe $50, perhaps $100 on the high end. The Siders brothers weren't just asking for a premium. They were asking for a price point that was 3, 4, even 6 times higher than the market norm. This wasn't just a product launch, it was a declaration. It was a statement that quality, durability, and performance were worth a significant investment. Their secret? What they called over-engineering. This wasn't just a marketing buzzword. It was a fundamental design philosophy. They adopted rotomolded construction, a process typically reserved for things like kayaks, which creates a single, seamless, virtually indestructible piece. This wasn't just about toughness. It was about insulation. The Tundra 65 could keep ice frozen for an astonishing 5 to 7 days, a performance metric that absolutely blew away anything else on the market. They reinforced every weak point, from the T-Rex latches to the never-fail hinge system. Every detail was meticulously designed to withstand the harshest conditions, to be, as their eventual tagline would declare, built for the wild. But who would pay nearly $300 for a cooler? Most industry experts, if they had even noticed YETI, would have scoffed. They would have predicted failure, arguing that the market for such an expensive, niche product was simply too small. And they would have been wrong. Because YETI didn't set out to build a mass-market product. They set out to build a cult following. Their initial marketing strategy was as counterintuitive as their pricing. They didn't spend millions on flashy TV ads or glossy magazine spreads. Instead, they went directly to their target audience. Serious outdoorsmen, professional guides, commercial fishermen, ranchers, and hunters. These were individuals whose livelihoods, or at least their passions, depended on reliable gear. They understood the value of durability and performance, and they were willing to pay for it. YETI sponsored professional fishermen, rodeo cowboys, and big game hunters. They gave products to guides who would put them through hell, knowing that if a YETI could survive a week-long fishing expedition in the Gulf or a hunting trip in the Rockies, it could survive anything. Their marketing wasn't about selling a cooler. It was about selling an experience, a lifestyle. They showcased their products being abused, dropped from trucks, dragged through mud, and still performing flawlessly. This wasn't traditional advertising. It was authentic, grassroots endorsement. When a professional guide, whose reputation depended on his gear, vouched for a YETI that carried far more weight than any Madison Avenue campaign. This approach fostered an aspirational brand identity, building trust and credibility one hardcore user at a time. The YETI sticker, given out freely, became an early status symbol, proudly displayed on trucks, boats, and gun cases, a silent, pervasive advertisement that spoke volumes about the owner's commitment to quality and adventure. Competitors, meanwhile, were still focused on price wars, completely missing the seismic shift YETI was orchestrating. They saw a cooler, YETI saw a statement. This deliberate, slow-burn strategy paid off. By 2012, just 6 years after its founding, YETI had cultivated an incredibly loyal, almost fanatical customer base. The company was profitable, growing, and had established itself as the undisputed leader in the premium cooler market. But to truly scale, to go from a niche brand to a national powerhouse, required more than just passionate founders and a great product. It required capital, strategic guidance, and operational expertise. That's where private equity firm CoreTech Group stepped in. In 2012, CoreTech acquired a majority stake in YETI, valuing the company at approximately $200 million. For many, the involvement of private equity signals a shift towards cost-cutting and mass-market appeal, often at the expense of brand integrity. But CoreTech understood YETI's unique value proposition. They saw not just a cooler company, but a burgeoning lifestyle brand with immense untapped potential. Their playbook wasn't about cheapening the product. It was about professionalizing the operations, expanding distribution, and injecting the capital needed to fuel explosive growth, all while meticulously maintaining YETI's premium image and built for the wild ethos. This infusion of capital and strategic guidance allowed YETI to invest in its supply chain, ensuring they could meet growing demand without compromising quality. They refined their manufacturing processes, primarily with third-party partners in China, implementing stringent quality control measures. They began to strategically expand their distribution, moving beyond specialty outdoor retailers to national chains like Dick's Sporting Goods and Academy Sports and Outdoors, but always with a careful eye on maintaining their premium positioning. The goal was to make YETI more accessible, but never cheapen its perception. They were setting the stage for something much bigger than just coolers. They were about to introduce a product that would fundamentally redefine their brand and catapult them into the mainstream, far beyond the wildest dreams of those initial frustrated brothers. But YETI's story isn't just about coolers. It's about a company that understood the power of its own brand and then strategically expanded its reach far beyond its initial niche product. The real turning point, the moment YETI truly began its transformation from a premium cooler company into a full-fledged lifestyle brand, came in 2014. That's when they introduced the Rambler drinkware line. Think about it. A cooler, even a YETI cooler, is a relatively infrequent purchase. You buy one, and it lasts a lifetime. But a tumbler? A water bottle? That's something you use every single day. The Rambler, particularly the 20-ounce tumbler priced at $29.99, was a stroke of genius. It took that same over-engineered, built for the wild philosophy and shrunk it down into an accessible, everyday item. It was still premium, still significantly more expensive than a basic travel mug, but it was a fraction of the cost of a Thunder cooler. This was YETI democratizing its tough luxury appeal. Suddenly, the YETI experience wasn't just for the hardcore outdoorsman with a $300 cooler. It was for the commuter, the student, the office worker who wanted their coffee hot and their water cold all day long. The Rambler became a gateway product, an affordable entry point into the YETI ecosystem. And the results were staggering. By 2016, just 2 years after its introduction, Rambler tumbler sales had reached over $200 million, surpassing cooler sales entirely. This expansion was a critical factor in YETI's meteoric revenue growth, from $147.5 million in 2014 to an incredible $637.5 million in 2017. That's a compound annual growth rate of over 60%, all while maintaining those enviable gross margins, consistently hovering around 50 to 60%. This strategic diversification wasn't just about new products, it was about leveraging a psychological principle, anchoring. When you see a $300 cooler, a $30 tumbler suddenly seems like a bargain, a small indulgence that carries the same premium brand cachet. YETI also masterfully employed scarcity tactics with its drinkware, releasing limited edition colors that would sell out almost instantly, driving immediate demand and fostering a sense of collectability. The brand's social media, especially Instagram, exploded with user-generated content, showcasing YETI products not just in rugged wilderness, but in everyday live, at the beach, in the office, on a road trip. This wasn't just advertising. It was community building, a powerful form of social proof that cemented YETI's place in the cultural zeitgeist. As Yeti's empire grew, so did the target on its back. The company had created a new category, a new standard, and naturally, competitors emerged. Many tried to replicate Yeti's success, often by offering similar products at a lower price point. But Yeti was ready. They understood that protecting their innovation and their brand identity was paramount. In 2017, they filed a lawsuit against RTIC Coolers for patent and trademark infringement. This wasn't just about a single competitor. It was a clear message to the market. Yeti would aggressively defend its intellectual property, which by then included over 100 patents and 200 trademarks. The lawsuit ultimately resulted in a confidential settlement, with RTIC redesigning its products. This move reinforced Yeti's position as the innovator, the original, and underscored the value of its unique designs and brand. Simultaneously, Yeti was making another strategic shift that would profoundly impact its profitability and customer relationships, a move towards direct-to-consumer, or DTC, sales. While traditional retail channels were important, selling directly through their website and their own stores allowed Yeti to capture higher margins and build a more direct, intimate relationship with its customers. This wasn't just about sales, it was about control over the brand message, the customer experience, and ultimately, the perception of value. The results were undeniable. DTC sales grew from 30% of net sales in 2017 to a dominant 57% by 2020. This move not only boosted their bottom line, but also provided invaluable direct feedback, allowing Yeti to stay agile and responsive to its evolving customer base. By this point, Yeti had transcended its product categories. It wasn't just a cooler company or even a drinkware company. It was a lifestyle brand. The Yeti sticker, once a small emblem on a cooler, became a ubiquitous status symbol, displayed on trucks, boats, and laptops, free, pervasive advertising that reinforced the brand's aspirational identity. The company's marketing spend, remarkably, remained relatively low compared to traditional consumer brands, often below 10% of sales. This efficiency was a testament to the power of word of mouth, organic growth, and a deeply engaged community. The Built for the Wild tagline wasn't just marketing. It was a promise, a philosophy that resonated with consumers who valued durability, performance, and a connection to the outdoors. Yeti intentionally limited discounts and promotions, a bold move that maintained its premium perception and prevented commoditization. While competitors chased sales with price cuts, Yeti held firm, confident in the perceived value of its products. This strategy, combined with continuous product innovation, think T-Rex latches and never-fail hinge systems, justified the higher price points and fostered unwavering brand loyalty. The numbers tell the story of a company that defied conventional wisdom. From a niche cooler brand valued at approximately $200 million by Cortec Group in 2012, Yeti evolved into a global icon. In 2021, its market capitalization soared to over $7 billion. By fiscal year 2023, net sales reached an impressive $1.61 billion, with new categories like bags, gear, and other contributing a significant 20% of net sales in Q4 2023. Yeti's journey is a masterclass in brand building. They took a basic, utilitarian product, over-engineered it to an extreme, and then priced it like a luxury item. They didn't just sell coolers, they sold an identity, a promise of rugged reliability and aspirational live-ing. They proved that for certain products, consumers are not just willing, but eager to pay a significant premium for perceived superior quality, durability, and the associated lifestyle. They created a cult-like following, transforming a humble camping item into a multi-billion-dollar empire. But how exactly did they do it? What are the underlying principles that allowed Yeti to achieve such extraordinary success, where so many others failed? Now here are 3 lessons from Yeti's playbook you can apply to your own business. Lesson 1. Solve a genuine, unmet customer problem. Identify a frustration or gap in your market and create a superior solution, even if it means a higher price point. Yeti didn't just make another cooler, they made one that truly worked for their target audience, justifying its premium cost. Lesson 2. Build an aspirational lifestyle brand. Focus on selling an experience or identity, not just a product, through authentic marketing and community building. Yeti sold the dream of rugged adventure, making their products symbols of a desired way of life, not just tools. Lesson 3. Diversify product lines strategically. Expand into related categories that leverage your brand's core values. using initial successes as gateway products to new markets. From coolers, YETI expanded into drinkware, bags, and apparel, all extensions of that same outdoor, durable ethos. If you want more business breakdowns, you can actually use subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. That is the real story behind YETI. How over-engineering a basic camping item and pricing it like luxury transformed a humble cooler into a lifestyle brand. The lesson here is not just about one company. It is about how the most durable businesses in the world are built on systems, not products. If this kind of analysis helps you think differently about business, subscribe to Capital Logic and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We will see you in the next one.